People say this is a funny story, so why not share it? Let's get down to business. I just turned 6 years old. It was the first week of December, and my mother had decided to bring my brother, myself, and the Clarks to the movies. Shout out to the Clarks. We were going to see Star Wars for probably the 5th time. I know. May release date. Movies stayed a lot longer in the cinemas back then, right? So we looked up the cinema showings in the paper and booked over the phone. Just to speed through events, we picked up the tickets, went for a walk, and then sat down at the screen in the UCI Blanchardstown. Does anyone else remember those film posters that they used to project onto the screen with the questions about movies on them? Way better than just watching ads. Now they're trying to sell you insurance before they put on the trailers. And then the trailers came up. I actually don't remember what trailers were on. But then the dots went across the screen. And our hero entered the frame. But at 6 years old, I didn't even know this was our hero. I thought heroes wore capes, not suits. But I sat there amazed while all this dialogue just went straight over my head.
I am offering you the opportunity to walk out with the money, Mr. Bond.
And I'm giving you the opportunity to walk out with your life.
Looking at our present situation, strictly as a banker, I would have to say that the numbers are not on your side.
But then this happened.
Perhaps you failed to take into account my hidden assets.
I didn't know what was going on, but I was all in. Suits, offices, watches, guns, action. What was this strange world? It wasn't Gotham, or that of comic books and cartoons. Well, 6-year-old Alan was ready to stick his feet up and take it all in.
All right. But you'll have to protect me.
But then my mother realised this wasn't another trailer. We were watching the film. So my mother quickly ejected the Carrolls and the Clarks from the screening. We stood in the UCI lobby with the usher. He seemed like an adult to me, but now that I think about it, he was definitely a college student or 16-year-old trying to negotiate this disaster with my mother. How did we end up in the wrong screening? The usher said Star Wars wasn't on anymore. I can't remember whether it had just left the cinema or it was 3/4 of the way through. Either way, we weren't seeing it. But we could see Tarzan instead. No way. All 5 of us were completely bought in to seeing what happened next in this film. I didn't know who James Bond was, but I had to see what was happening. What took place was quite strange. My mum asked the usher,
"Is this going to be appropriate for the kids?"
"Well, Mrs. It's James Bond."
"Well, it's not going to be filled with too much violence or sex."
It's PG-13. And they're what? 6?
But is it really?
Be still.
Life's full of small challenges.
I will not miss. I never miss.
And we walked back into the movie. Clearly the idea of finding a new way to entertain 5 children was so frightening to my mother, a PG-13's film was safer. I remember it so clear. Just as we got settled back into our seats, this happened.
Stop! You didn't finish! Stop!
And this is the sequence, the moment that began my obsession, addiction, whatever you want to call it. The boat chase down the Thames is a Bond fan favourite. And that David Arnold music is... The whole opening and style of that sequence kept me hooked from the beginning. And had 6-year-old Alan on the edge of his seat for 2 hours. I had no idea what was really going on most of the time. Especially that Christmas joke. But there's something about how universal the storytelling was. I didn't need to know the dialogue, the images, the acting, just told the story. I was in. And most Bond films have this broad appeal. They go up and down generations and across the world. The pre-title sequence did exactly what it's supposed to do. Hook us. People say that they have to move the pre-title sequence to put the boat chase in. But that jumping out of Bilbao really did what it was supposed to do. We literally walked out of the movie and had a choice of another one and went back to Bond. And that's what the pre-titles does. Gets you in.
¡Abran la puerta! ¡Policía! ¡Del piso de arriba! ¡Abran la puerta! ¡Policía! ¡Policía, abran la puerta!
This film started my obsession and hopefully kept other fans on board. And this is what the series constantly does. It walks the line of bringing in the new generation but keeping the older one. All I can say is I hope this series will keep it up, because someday I will be the older generation. Maybe I am now. After the movie, I just vividly remember going home and running around the house doing this. Imagine if we went to see Tarzan that day. I'd be doing this video in a loincloth and from the jungle. No one wants to see that. This is the film that started it off for me. Some people give Brosnan a hard time, but a mix of nostalgia and everything else, I still think the film holds up. Tell me about your very first Bond film in the comments. Was it as crazy and random an experience as mine? I'd like to know. Shoot that like button for a Bond video every week. Welcome all you new subscribers. There's quite a few people on board since the last one. Bye.
I'm gonna find him.
Who's afraid now, Mr. Bond?
I will not miss. I never miss.
Do you want to put that in English for those of us who don't speak spy?
Why am I suddenly worried I'm not carrying enough insurance?
Your time is up.
The world is not enough.